Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a really fascinating, honestly pretty uncompromising text today. It deals with a concept literally every single one of us wrestles with at some point, and that is absolute personal accountability. We're going to break down a philosophical framework that treats our everyday reality as a literal mirror. Sound intense? Well, it kind of is. Let's get right into it.
So first things first, where is this coming from? The source material for our explainer today comes straight from a man named Xu Feng. He is the founder of Life Chanyuan. And today we're going to explore exactly how he frames consciousness, reality, and the consequences of our actions through his very unique philosophical lens.
Xu Feng opens his text with a super provocative question. It's one that hits right at the core of human existential doubt. He asks, how do we actually verify if our own consciousness is flawed? I mean, really think about that for a second. How can we possibly know if our choices, our lifestyle, and our whole worldview are actually aligned with the right path, or what he refers to as the way of nature? We all have blind spots, right? So how do we actually measure our own correctness?
To answer that, Xu Feng gives us a 5-step roadmap. First, who verifies right and wrong? Second, good trees, good fruits. Third, the fault lies in ourselves. Fourth, reflections of individuals and nations. And finally, facts speak louder than theories.
Okay, starting off with part 1. Who verifies right and wrong?
According to the Life Chanyuan founder, we actually don't need to guess if our lifestyle is correct. We don't need to sit there debating it endlessly in our heads. He argues that the objective facts of our lives act as an undeniable mirror. The absolute only verification method is to let the tangible real-world facts of our existence tell us the answer. Basically, if you want to know what your consciousness looks like, just take a hard look at your life.
Which brings us to part 2. Good trees, good fruits. To really anchor this argument, Xu Feng borrows a super well-known quote from Jesus Christ to establish a simple cause and effect relationship. A good tree produces good fruit, and a bad tree produces bad fruit. The core idea here is that your internal roots directly dictate your external reality. You can't have a perfectly healthy tree that yields rotting apples, right? Just like you can't have a toxic tree that magically yields perfect, sweet fruit.
And Xu Feng applies this metaphor directly to human consciousness. On one side, we have the good fruit. If you are out there experiencing joy, freedom, happiness, and health, he argues this is direct proof of a correct consciousness. But on the flip side, the bad fruit, things like pain, anxiety, fear, or disease, well, that's viewed as the unavoidable result of a flawed consciousness. The facts of your life are simply the fruits of your mindset.
Moving on to part 3. The fault lies in ourselves.
Now, this is the absolute core thesis of Xu Feng's article. He writes, "The world is not wrong. If there is a mistake, the fault is in oneself." In the Life Chanyuan framework, all personal misfortune is entirely self-generated, no exceptions. The world is functioning exactly as it should, just reacting to the energy and the choices you put out into it.
So the crucial point here is exactly who we are strictly forbidden from blaming. Xu Feng provides a very explicit list. If you're suffering, you must not blame God. You must not blame an unfair society. You cannot blame other people, and you certainly cannot blame your friends and family. Blaming those external forces isn't just incorrect in his view, it actively prevents you from fixing the root consciousness. And doing that only guarantees that your future will be even worse.
He presents a pretty stark numerical contrast to drive this home. He says a person might invent 10,000 reasons and excuses to defend their mistakes. And we do this, right? We do it to anesthetize ourselves from the pain of our failures. But, he warns, the way of nature has 10,000 ways to punish those errors. Those excuses act like anesthesia, sure, but once that wears off, the reality of the punishment is going to be far, far more agonizing.
Let's look at part 4. Reflections of individuals and nations.
So here, the Life Chanyuan founder actually expands his philosophy from the micro to the macro level, to geopolitics. Just as personal poverty or pain is strictly a personal fault, he asserts that a nation's poverty or backwardness is strictly a national fault. If a country is struggling, he argues, it's unquestionable that the problem lies within themselves, not with other nations and not with historical circumstances. That mirror of reality, it applies to borders just as much as it applies to bodies. And following this exact logic, Xu Feng outlines very specific steps for national redemption when a country finds its path blocked by others. Step 1, apologize. Step 2, humbly listen to the critics, even the ones delivering threatening advice. Step 3, do not argue, do not return insults, and whatever you do, do not raise your fists in threat. He firmly believes that for an entire nation, responding with aggression or making excuses will only invite deeper tragedy, exactly like it does for an individual.
Finally, part 5, facts speak louder than theories. He gives us 2 highly distinct action plans based on our current reality. Look at your life. If you're healthy, free, and happy, his advice is simply stay the course. Don't start doubting yourself, and definitely don't go diving into complex theology or esoteric studies looking for problems that just aren't there. Your life is the proof you're on the right track. However, if you're sick, poor, or miserable, you've got to drop the excuses immediately and repent deeply. Your misfortune is your own doing, and radical self-reflection is literally your only way out.
A really key aspect of this framework is Zhifeng's strong warning against high-level philosophy. He argues that when we're lost, when we're suffering, it is a huge mistake to seek out complex theories, deep theology, or classic academic doctrines. Using those things as a crutch only deepens our confusion. It allows us to intellectualize our problems rather than actually doing the hard work of fixing our foundational consciousness.
Which leads us to this incredibly powerful concluding thought from the text: facts are the most honest and authentic narrative. In the worldview of Life Xinyuan, you can tell yourself literally any story you want, but the universe only speaks in outcomes. The raw, undeniable facts of your daily life are the only truly honest metric of whether or not you're walking the right path.
So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a question based directly on Xufeng's writings. If the facts of your life are indeed the ultimate mirror, what is your life currently reflecting about your consciousness? Take a good hard look in that mirror today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.